This time, yesterday morning, we were keeping a close eye on a downtown Phoenix courthouse. Lori Daybell had gone into court to say that the judge that she had a history with, the judge who had just presided over her last case, Justin Boreski, that you see right there, should be taken off the case. Well, another judge stepped in to rule and said no. There was no cause to take Judge Boreski off this upcoming second case. But then what happened after that? Well, there was plenty of action in the courtroom, and we're going to talk live with our producer, George Obie, in about 3 minutes. But first, there is a story that is unfolding in a popular forest area just north of the Phoenix Metro. Two teens just out of school here as the school year wraps up, headed up there for a camping trip. After a while, no one heard from them. And then the shock as they are both found dead. And detectives are now working the case as a double homicide. This is while they are now trying to figure out who the killer was who took these two young lives. The teens' friends are speaking out, and here is just some of what they had to say.
Just like a camping trip.
It's pretty shocking. I think on the drive up here, we were all talking about how we thought he was just going to come in to work later in the week or tell us he was pranking because he would do stuff like that. And so of anyone, I just wouldn't expect it to be Evan.
His life was cut very short, and so was Pandora's. They were very young, and it was just so sudden and a tragedy that you wouldn't even imagine that would happen to like a loved one, let alone like a coworker or a friend that you have. So just cherish all of the memories and laughs in the present time, and because we just live a fast life most of the time, and you always think in the future or tomorrow or later today. You never cherish those present memories.
He was just bigger than life. He had the best personality, and he lifted all of us up all the time, and it was always a joy to work with him. He was just one of the best.
Holding back tears, friends speak out. So here's what we know so far, and this is our reporting from Fox 10 Phoenix. The county sheriff's office has ID'd 18-year-old Pandora Colesrud and a 17-year-old whose bodies were found on the 27th in the Mount Ord area off of State Route 87. And if you guys want to roll that video from out on the scene, I believe we have some video now of the area where the bodies were found. We'll work to bring some of that up for you right here. So this is what spokesman for MCSO is saying. Our focus is on conducting a comprehensive and meticulous investigation to ensure justice for the victims and their loved ones. Now, friends, this is Fox10Phoenix.com reporting. While officials did not identify the 17-year-old, friends have identified him as Evan Clark. And we have learned that the two did leave for a Memorial Day weekend camping trip up in that area, just off the Beeline Highway. Now, it's I believe it is that dirt road area that's just off the Beeline that you pull off the highway. It's State Route 87. It's traveled by thousands of people every day between our metro area in Phoenix and the mountain community of Payson. And so people are up and down State Route 87 all the time. And, of course, MCSO is hoping that somebody saw something that day. And, again, this dates back to them being found, their bodies, on May 27th. So we're going to keep very close track of that story as it all unfolds this morning here on Fox 10 Talks. Now, there is another story that we are following this morning, and it has to do with what actually turned out to be kind of I'm going to call it like a whirlwind day in the Lori Vallow Daybell case in court yesterday, because at this time, yesterday morning, we had been reporting to you that she was in court. And if you were watching us live yesterday morning at 10 a.m., literally our Justin Lum walked back from the courthouse, which is only about a 5-minute walk, and said, motion denied. The request to get the judge taken off that case was denied. Well, things then started to transpire inside the courtroom as they really moved on pretty quickly. So we're going to call up our producer, George Obie, this morning. And George, was it literally just within an hour or two that they said, all right, well, we'll just move forward here. Let's get the jury selection underway?
Yeah, jury selection. Good morning, Ron. Jury selection was already planned to begin yesterday, going through jury questionnaires. But again, the judge, another judge in the case, ruled pretty quickly that Judge Boreski was not going to be disqualified from the case. It was pretty cut and dry. They heard both sides' arguments for and against. But again, Judge Boreski is still on the case, and then they quickly moved on to the jury questionnaire, which again, they got through a little over 100 questionnaires yesterday, whittled it down to 66 people that they're going to bring in person later this afternoon. Our Justin Lum is down at the courthouse this morning, where walk-ins have now are being brought in to kind of whittle that down just in case. But we are hopeful by the end of the day that the court will have 12 jurors and 4 alternates. So opening arguments for this case can begin on Monday.
So last time around, just refresh my memory, Syleste joins as well. How long did it take in the, to get settled with the 12 jurors necessary, along with the alternates as well? It just seems like it's almost impossible on a worldwide case how difficult it will be to find people who haven't heard about her or formed an opinion. But how did it work last time?
Well, because you have 2 cases, high profile, with a high profile defendant like this, 2 cases so close together, it's certainly a challenge. I think this time around, there were certainly more people who admitted that they knew who she was or knew about her case, whether it's the previous trial in Arizona a few months ago or her trials in cases out of Idaho. So yesterday we learned that a majority of people either had knowledge of the case, but the other issue was, as those of us who have been summoned to a jury or have been called to a jury, getting people to commit to multiple weeks of this is a challenge. Then you throw in the fact that we are in the summer months. So you have a lot of people who have kids out for school during the summer, who have already made summer vacation plans and can't commit to 3-4 weeks at a time to hear a case. So a majority of the people that were let go yesterday from the questionnaire, at least as they whittled it down, were because of prior knowledge of the case and or summer plans. And again, Lori's name is on the questionnaire. So is it unthinkable to think that people would Google her name? It's possible. But again, all the coverage that we've done on this case over the last couple of years, I think you're running into that issue where people have heard the name, they've seen documentaries, maybe that's come up on their feed where, a video about her came up. At least people are being honest on the questionnaire. And then, of course, Lori and the prosecution, Prosecutor Trina Kay, I think they looked at that and said, look, we have enough questionnaires returned. We can excuse a lot of these people. And then today will be interesting because those same questions will be asked of them. How much do you know? What do you know? And can you commit to 3-4 weeks for this trial? Because the plan, again, is to get this trial done by the end of June.
Real quick, George, if I could ask you, what is it like for you? I know you're talking a lot of the nuts and bolts and the meat of the case. What's it like for you, though, to cover this case? I mean, does anything ever surprise you anymore? Because it's kind of been pretty wild and bizarre just to hear the details.
Yeah, there's not a lot, I think, that surprises me anymore anyway, because, working in this business for almost 3 decades. But with this case, I will say the one thing that surprised me was she chose to represent herself. Mm-hmm. That kind of threw a new wrinkle into this, because when you cover a case like this for as long as Justin and I have, you kind of get to know the people involved, specifically Lori, and to see her act as her own attorney,
right,
when you kind of know her demeanor and you've learned a lot about her over the last couple of years, that surprised me a little bit. But as far as the nuance of the case, how they approach it, I think the prosecution is attacking this case as well as we expected them to do. We also know that Lori's not a lawyer, and there are things that she's doing that just aren't by the rule of the law. She doesn't have an understanding of law because, again, she didn't go to law school. We saw that yesterday. There were a number of things she was upset with in her motions that were denied. But the panel of experts that we had on the show yesterday were like, look, that's common, not unheard of. And, I think in that regard, you hear this argument where you should never represent yourself in a case. We're seeing that with her. And again, nothing surprises me. I think this is just who Lori is. She very controlling, and she wanted to control both of these cases, both of these trials, and it didn't work out for her well in April. We'll see how it does this time around, but again, there's not much left that surprises me here.
Okay, always good perspective. That's our George Obie, producer A#1 on this particular case. I'm sure we'll call on you next week as well, George. Hey, there is one other quick note out of court. There's so much going on right now in the world of just legal cases.
Yes.
Let me just share, Celeste, with our audience that we're going to keep a real close eye on it today, because there's this other case. Again, for our worldwide audience, you may not have heard about it, but there was a young man almost 2 years ago at a Halloween party who was beaten so severely that he died in the hospital. And it has been a long road to these court cases, but we're now hearing that Jacob Meisner, who is one of the, I believe, 7 who are facing the most serious charges, that he will be in court. And we will watch to see if, in fact, it's a settlement conference, so there may be a plea deal in the works by the end of the day today. So the first guy who took a plea deal got 17 years in this death that really, frankly, just shocked the whole Metro Phoenix area. And so we're going to watch that Meisner case very closely today. Celeste, it's time for a break.
All right.
We have a beautiful town here. You can give us your guesses back in. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. And boy, is this a beautiful town. The thing is, when I spotted it, Celeste, I said to myself, I'm not even sure that's in the United States.
Wow.
Because we have access to cameras around the world.
We do. And this comes to us from Travel TV, so that may give us a good indication.
Okay. So sometimes we do states, but sometimes we do countries. You got any idea?
Well, I will share in a moment, but Sherry Nevada Pub said Kansas.
Okay.
Lisa Dinsmore said New Hampshire from B. Miguel, that is.
Okay.
Linda Monter said Virginia. Louis Gonzalez said New Hampshire.
I could see Virginia, but I think I'm going to go international today.
Okay.
What about you?
You know what? I'm going to go somewhere in the Northeast. Where are we?
Like a Connecticut or maybe like a New Hampshire?
I'll go in New Hampshire with Louis Gonzalez.
Now, I'm going to go Germany.
Okay.
Because once traveling through Germany, I swear I saw a town that looked like this with a gigantic tower way up there on the hill.
What are those two balls? You see those two circular things up there, Ron?
Yeah, that's a top secret plant that now that I know what it is, Celeste, I can't tell you a word about it. Who knows? It's probably a brewery, considering Germany and all the beers that come out of there.
Angela Brockelman says, not in the U.S. I would say Switzerland.
Nice.
Okay. Hawkeyes, Colorado, but from Virginia.
Now, this part I'm probably a little crazy about, but I want to say I shouldn't even guess the city, but I want to say it's Stuttgart in Germany. But I do believe it's going to come out as Germany. Celeste, take it away.
Okay, here is the mystery camera.
Right, ready?
And it's Kaiserslautern, Germany.
Oh,
Ron,
nice.
you totally called it.
Kaiserslautern. Nice.
Kaiserslautern, Germany.
I don't know. It seems like maybe there should be a
That
movement
was pretty
to
good.
simplify the names of some of these towns in Germany.
It does look French-inspired. Little Philosophy said, it looks a little French-inspired out there.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, that's a beautiful town.
All right, Celeste, I'll tell you what. We will take 20 extra seconds. I'm going to look to see where Kaiserslautern is.
Yes.
And if you have any other guesses or comments or just checking in with any of our new people, that will be great.
I don't remember. I think we've Carter Conway is pretty new in the chat this morning. And welcome, by the way. He asked a question about the Preston Lord case.
Oh, yeah.
And you must know Arizona or be here, by the way, because what you shared was, after I shared the details in terms of how he died, you said, man, I haven't heard so much crime in Arizona since the Jodi Arias trial. Over the last, how long ago was that? Maybe 12 years or so?
Do you think? I'm going to say it was more like 6.
The Jodi Arias trial. But anyway, we've had some very big cases here in Arizona.
Oh, by the way, was that Jenswall who said it feels like it might be toward France? Because you're right. I mean, it's just north of Strasbourg, France.
Jenswall said UK.
Oh, okay.
It was Angela Brockelman who said, I would say Switzerland.
Okay. I thought somebody said it felt like France. But anyway.
A little philosophy, French-inspired.
There you go. Little philosophy.
Sherry Nevada Pup said, I guess we are not in Kansas anymore. Well said.
Good, yes.
Good morning, everyone.
Okay, couple of major developments to tell you about this morning. There was just a ruling. This is weird, I think, for the Supreme Court to be working on a Friday. Congress, what do they work? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah. So do they get OT? Does the Supreme Court judges get OT?
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Actually,
time differential pay.
I can't imagine. I doubt that happens very much. But actually, the ruling came out this morning, so they probably did the judicial work in the days, obviously, leading up to it. But they handed a huge win to President Trump, revoking parole for 500,000 migrants who got into the country over the last couple of years. Sotomayor and Ketanji Brown Jackson criticized the decision, but that was it. It seems like everybody else is on board. So it allows the administration, they had been prevented from ending the migrant parole program for a lot of people who got into the U.S. over the last couple of years from primarily Venezuela, but also Cuba and Haiti and Nicaragua. And so they stayed a lower court order that had been blocking them from deporting many of the people who got into the country over the last couple of years, one of the arguments of the president when he was even running for office is we don't even know who most of these people were that got into the country in the first place.
That's exactly what he said. And so that was the big concern.
Yeah. So anyway, a major ruling from the court today. And we'll see. I mean, there have been some legal wins and losses lately for the administration.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to this story. Here's a name you might be familiar with. Joe Biden.
Who's that?
Yeah. Okay, so there's like a brewing controversy now over who was really on a day-to-day basis making all the decisions at the White House.
Right.
And so they're going to be investigating it up on Capitol Hill. But very interesting with all this talk that he's lost his mental faculties. I got to believe that played a role in his decision to step out in public.
Yes.
And deliver a speech today. It just happened a couple hours ago. We're going to play a clip for you right now. And it doesn't look like he's even using a teleprompter.
So I think a lot of people out there who had these quote unquote, they at first called them conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Oh, Biden's not really making these calls on his own. You know, there was all these theories that popped out and people called them conspiracy theories. All those people are now saying, I told you so. Something was happening behind the scenes. And people questioned, I think, for the second part of his term, whether or not he had the mental capabilities to make some of those calls.
I'm listening to a 13-hour book right now that delves into the chaos that erupted within the Democratic Party within minutes of the debate, that disastrous debate. And people talking about whether they...
What is that one called, Ron? I think we need to listen.
Actually, I believe it's called Fight.
Interesting.
But it also has a lot of, let's see, who is the guy from CNN? Jake Tapper. He has a book out right now. But I think that only has that one kind of, the cover-up effort.
Just that one part perspective.
This has a broader view of the entire election. So they're also digging into what's going on in the Trump campaign.
Yes.
At the same time. It's really been fascinating. But then I love politics, and
yes,
so
you
not
do.
Everybody does. However...
When's your book coming out, Ron?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, when's your run for the presidency going to happen?
That too.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start with governor. And we're going to make some changes on our freeways. Anyway, here's exactly how Joe Biden sounded. I'm just going to roll it. You can decide how you think he did this morning.
Only nation in the world founded on an idea. An idea. Every nation was founded on geography, ethnicity, some unifying principle, but not an idea. The idea America was founded on, we hold these truths to be self-evident. That all men and women are created equal, endowed by the Creator with certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. We mean it. That's who we are. That's what makes America the most unique nation in the world, literally, not figuratively.
So he sounded pretty fired up there. Seemed like he was kind of on top of things. But one of the things I'm learning and listening to this book is that apparently he had a bad cold in the days leading up to. Some can say, oh, it's a big excuse, but that impacted his debate performance, that he was actually feeling pretty darn sick. And then the family felt like the advisors, Syleste, had filled his head trying to get him to, he's 80 years old, they're trying to get an 80-year-old to memorize all this information, and that's where it all went off the rails.
That's the worst thing to do. I mean, and has he taken public speaking before? I mean,
well,
in a college course of public speaking, that's the last thing they tell you to do, is not to memorize things word for word. Just think about the ideas that you want to share.
Yeah. But then aren't you also supposed to visualize your audience being naked? Is that the other thing?
That too.
Yeah.
And maybe carry some note cards.
Okay, so there's that. I gave a talk at church a few months ago.
Okay.
And I stepped up there
like?
and I was a little nervous because the topic was the early apostles, Jesus and the early apostles.
Okay, this is getting a little risque. We're in church.
I know. And I'm thinking, I am a little bit nervous, but I promise I'm not going to try to visualize the audience being naked.
Bishop, pastor, where are you?
Get him off the microphone.
Please.
Anyway, so Republicans are pushing this issue, and here's more of what they're saying now.
I think they would be null and void. look, at the end of the day, there's more evidence coming out by the second that would prove that Joe Biden wasn't the one making the decisions during the last 100 days of his administration.
Bill Biden was certainly complicit in that cover-up. There's documentation, video evidence of her clearly shielding her husband away from the cameras. They were just on The View last week. She was saying everything is fine. She's still lying to the American people. She still thinks the American public are so stupid that they're going to believe her lies. And frankly, it's insulting, and she needs to answer for it.
Well, no words minced there. That's for sure. So our poll question this morning, I'm going to pop this up on ENG21, but I'm also going to ask you guys in the booth. I would like to also call up the YouTube question, see how the poll's doing on YouTube as well. I know that's got to run through remote 6, but let me first pop up on 21. Here's how it looks so far. Okay, a lot of votes. And this is our QR code version, and if we can pull up the YouTube results, we will as well. Okay, do you think there was a cover-up, and do you care? 83% say, yeah, I care. Who was running the presidency? I want to know. 14% say, I don't care. His time is over. There's a new president. Move on. Now, Syleste, we also have a couple of additional options here. You know, when I put these poll questions together,
yes,
and so I'm always thinking, okay, is there one more kind of an option?
So we do have some comments on the YouTube poll question.
Okay.
And then we have some comments from inside the chat box as well. So Michelle Bolden 5, this is on the YouTube chat. If anyone cares about Biden's mental capabilities, and they should be doubly concerned about Trump's.
Oh, gosh. Okay. By the way, let me just jump in and say your other options on the poll, and you can grab that QR code right now. I'm sure we're going to watch these numbers move around some more. Right now, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but let's just let the process unfold and let's see where it goes.
Okay, well, we do that, Ron. Here's one from the other side.
Okay.
Marley0010 Smithson, which, welcome to the chat. I think you may be new to our family here. Thanks for joining.
Yeah,
a lot of his
absolutely.
So she says, Marley says, a lot of his Sleepy Joe time was the treatment for his prostate cancer. That was something that has recently been talked about, Ron.
Yes.
Whether or not the treatment, they weren't honest, possibly. There were questions about whether or not they were honest about when he was dealing with this, when he was diagnosed. Marley0010 Smithson also said he still didn't finish the passage he started after 40 plus years in D.C. We wanted to say a big hello to Hawk.
Yeah, the numbers are moving around a little bit now. We're down to 79% of people saying, yeah, I want an investigation. Who was running the show? And we're up to 15% who say, I don't care. Let's all move on. And I think the numbers have adjusted a little bit too. Here are some people now saying, I think the whole thing is just payback for all the years of investigating Trump. Grab that QR code once again. And now we are going to go, Celeste, to the Isabella camera. Good morning, Isabella.
Hi, Isabella. Good morning.
Hi, Isabella, if you're not familiar, is the newest member of the Fox 10 Talks team here. And by the way, she's also fully producing the show too. Dave took a break today. And so what are you seeing on YouTube in terms of response?
Yeah, well, there is a lot of comments on YouTube, and they're all across the board. But a couple of them I will read. The first one from Brian C. 1149. He says, they need this investigated, and the people responsible must be punished. Michelle Bolden 5 commented, if anyone cares about Biden's mental capabilities, then they should be doubly concerned about Trump's. And then BH Pilot 82 commented, Jesus Christ, if everyone knew every politician's actual mental health, they would go more stir crazy, especially in the past. It doesn't matter what political party, and it's no different now. Have fun with that realization.
That is actually a pretty hilarious comment.
I guess so.
You know what I mean?
There's a lot of comments. There's 40 comments right now, and they continue to come in. So
I mean, aren't we all just a little bit crazy anyway?
Yes.
Celeste, now
you work
speak
in
for
the news,
yourself.
yeah.
That's fine. If you want to call yourself out on the air, I'm
I
trying
mean,
to
Ron.
keep this show on the road. That's all. Thank you, Isabella.
Thanks,
you.
Isabella.
Okay. By the way, Celeste, one of our other headlines this morning, you know,
Yes.
sometimes people gravitate to our show, and thank you to everybody who's watching. We have hundreds of people watching from around the world right now. And if you're here in Phoenix, you can watch on YouTube, or you can actually watch on TV on Channel 45, which is Fox 10 Extra. But here's the question. There are now some controversies over those people moving escalators, not the escalators that climb, just the moving walkways at airports. And some people are wondering, are they going to go away?
Oh, why would they go away?
Now, I don't know for sure. You know, we're bouncing around a different video, but I felt like the first one we just saw there was the Philadelphia airport. I don't know.
Okay.
Those are the longest walkways. You get on one and you're like, am I ever getting off?
And then you hear, the walkway is ending.
Right.
Prepare yourself. The walkway is ending.
Which, by the way, I do believe that's our movie critic, Michael Dixon's voice. Did you ever think of that?
Oh, yes.
At the airport?
You're right.
I think it is. Anyway, so here's the story in a nutshell. It turns out that some airports are now considering whether or not to dispense with these moving walkways. And I thought to myself, well, what is it, using up too much power? I mean, you're running an airport, you probably have 5 million lights, you know, and generators for air conditioning, everything else. They say what it is growing anger and frustration from retailers who are watching the public just go by like this,
right?
Because you don't know if this is a new airport for you anyway.
No.
You're hopping on the moving walkway, and the next thing you know, you've just gone 300 yards,
right?
And you're like, glad I don't have to walk. But the retailers are looking at it and saying, those should be my customers. Those should be my customers. Those should be my customers. And they're mad. Have you been yet to the brand new Salt Lake City airport up there in Utah?
It's been a couple years.
Okay.
So is it newer?
Well, it's brand new. I mean, they knocked the old one down, but they have these long moving walkways. But I swear that every inch of that airport is either bathrooms, gates, or restaurants.
That's all you need, Ron.
You need the big three.
Yes.
But there have been times I'm on the escalator and I'm like, oh, I could have grabbed a burger there.
Oh.
So it is a real thing.
Yeah, because how do you hop off and hop on? Do you just, what if you jump the rail?
Yeah.
Could you like pull a Dukes of Hazzard type thing and just
jump the rail? If it's the only BK in the airport and you're really needing a Whopper,
hey, I got to go.
Jump the rail. All right. Well, anyway, we'll watch it, but it sounds like there's some controversy going on there. Did you happen to see Syleste?
Yes.
To me, this is like, I don't know, it's got an Armageddon feel to it. A suspected tornado was spotted by some people traveling down the road. That's Megan J. Renee. And she took these pictures. You can see the crops. This is out there in the kind of the dustiest, driest part of West Texas, that's for sure. But the Weather Service said, look, we're going to have 80-mile-an-hour winds. We could have hail the size of golf balls to baseballs, and be ready for tornadoes. This is in Brownfield, Texas. And it does look like, we're still waiting to get a confirmation. Sometimes it takes them a little while. But it looks like that's exactly what was going on there.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Some of these images that come in of tornadoes around the country, it looks like something straight out of the movies. But this is not what graphics created. This is purely Mother Nature.
By the way, since you're talking about that,
Yes.
So we've had Twister 1 and Twister 2. Remember, it was about 20 years ago
yes.
that the original Twister
Right.
came out. And then last summer, we had Twister 2.
Yes, we did.
Or was it the year before? Anyway, which was better, 1 or 2?
I always
Got an
think
opinion?
I always think the OGs are best.
Do you really?
Yes, I
Yeah.
really do. Like the original Karate Kid.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the best.
Well, 20 years ago when they showed cows flying through the air when you knew there really wasn't a cow in the air,
Right.
it was like mesmerizing. But now we've all seen it all the time.
Or like Jaws. Didn't Jaws just celebrate like a big anniversary?
Yeah, sure. Now that shark looks very mechanical. Right? I mean, it looks like it's out of It's a Small World after all. Anyway.
Real quick, Ron.
Yeah.
To your question, Reb McB,
Yes.
which I think you might be new to the feed.
Welcome, Reb.
Welcome, Reb. The Miami airport has the longest moving walkway I've ever experienced. And
Wow.
most of the time it's not working or only partially working, which means it
yes.
probably like either stops halfway. How are you going to get off?
That's a really good
Or
point.
is it slow to the,
I'm trying to think, what airport was I at recently? It might have been DFW. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, sometimes if it's broken, you're like, oh, it won't be a 15-minute walk. It'll be a 30-minute walk.
Well, you know where
at
they
these
have
huge airports.
one of the best airports, and if chime in the chat, best airport maybe, best or
Okay.
worst airport.
Yeah.
Best airport, I think, Indianapolis.
Wow.
Like you come out to the curb,
Okay.
and the rental car place is just across the street. It is the best.
Thank you. Why do we have to get on these buses? Or have you ever flown in and out of SFO?
No.
I don't know what their problem is there, Celeste. But they have like a light rail like we do that takes you to the cars. But I feel like the units
Yes.
that move down the track only come by every so often. So by the time one shows up, you feel like you're Sardineville packed in there in Karachi.
It's the same thing. Okay, first of all, we got to know more about Karachi. Second of all, that's exactly what LAX is like. You know, I'd rather fly into like somewhere like a Long Beach, which is super small, than an LAX where you have to take a bus to the, real quick, we've got Ryan Apple Snapple. We're
Nice.
loving the name.
Good.
Yes.
All our new people today. Welcome to the friendliest chat on the internet. Anyway.
Ryan Apple Snapple says worst is Dallas Fort Worth.
I know.
It's a big airport.
Right.
I believe this might be Isabella chiming in. Least favorite airport is ATL or LAX.
Oh.
Hawkeye says Colorado Springs, Colorado is a good airport.
I bet.
Palm Beach International, Buggy Build 1 says that's the best. Troy S says Burbank and Mesa Gateway. Mesa Gateway is a good one, by the way.
Yeah. Now, that's about the right size. That and the airport in Spokane. I don't think you've ever flown into that one.
I have not.
But I think it's about 20 to 30 gates. That's a nice size airport.
Yeah.
Right?
That's good. 38 gates.
Anyway, all right, we're going to move on here because it turns out, and this is no shocker to anybody, but it turns out that a lot of moms are not getting enough time to themselves. 65% in a new survey say they rarely have a minute to themselves. They never get more than, say, 30 minutes a day. And so the story basically was talking about the fact that they need snacks. They need their protein and their carbs to get through the day. But because the kids know all the places to forage, Celeste,
yes,
then they have to hide their snacks.
Yeah, well, moms have to hide their snacks because the kids will eat them all.
Oh, this was your story of the day today, right?
It was.
Where do you remember the story? Where were some of the places moms were stashing the snacks?
In the nightstand.
Okay.
In the car.
Okay.
In their purse.
The car thing I don't think would work very well here, especially if it was chocolate.
Yeah, it would melt.
You're correct.
Would not be great.
It'd just be like a thing of goo. But yeah, those are some options. Do you hide snacks, Celeste?
Well, I will say, yeah, I do in the pantry.
Okay.
Yeah, I hide because otherwise.
Isn't that a little too obvious?
Well, yeah.
Oh, wait till you have grandkids.
I hide them behind things.
Oh, nice.
So like behind the rice maker or the pressure cooker.
Okay.
And then but then I forget they're there, and then 6 months later I find them, and I'm like, oh no, I forgot these were here.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
Oh my gosh! But
yeah.
I think this is such a true story though for so many families because. As moms, we don't, where do you even think about, the only place I can think about things is in the shower. Because nobody's in the shower with me anymore. Like when my kids were little, sometimes they'd shower with me.
But you're not saying you hide the things in the shower. No, that wouldn't work.
That would be weird.
So for me, with the grandkids, look, I love them. They come over, but they know exactly where I store the popsicles in the freezer.
Yes.
And so I like a nice sugar-free popsicle now and then. But the problem, I've thought it through, and I can't come up with a solution. You can't exactly hide popsicles elsewhere in the house.
No.
If you think about it, right?
Unless you might have a freezer in like the garage or something, like a deep freezer.
What about a secret freezer?
Oh, yeah. Well, I have a tamale freezer where I store all my tamales in the,
You do?
Yeah.
Out in the garage?
In the garage.
Wow.
It's like a deep freezer, store my tamales and my hatch chilies.
Celeste makes some tamales that are like off the charts, but she only brings them in at Christmas.
I know. It's
so
kind
we
of
have to
a
wait
tradition.
like 11 months every year.
Every 11 months.
Well, honestly.
I do have, this is a good idea. Ryan Apple Snapple, you were on it this morning. He uses a bag in the freezer of broccoli and he hides his mini candy bars inside of it. That is brilliant.
Oh my gosh.
So good.
That is great. That's like these people that are trying to smuggle whatever across the border.
I know.
And they're trying to hide it in the tire. In the spare tire.
Carrie Culp said the same thing. She goes in an empty bag of frozen vegetables.
I love it. You guys are on it. Yeah,
so, Ron, do you remember this? I think it was Ryan Apple Snapple. He said, oh, you did. Okay, for all of you who are chiming in,
10 seconds. Go ahead.
It's going to have to wait.
Is
I don't have. Yeah, I need more than 10, Ron.
I know.
You
we
know
have
me.
to watch the clock. Okay, it's break time, but there's some scenic flights somewhere in this big, beautiful world of ours. We'll be right back. And we welcome you back. That is a beautiful scene right there. Blue sky day, crystal clear blue water. Somebody's ready to go on some scenic flights. I never asked where this one is. But, it's a seaplane. I can tell you that
Oh, you
much.
think it's Seattle?
Might be up in the Northwest. Yeah, they've been having some nice weather.
You've got to take those seaplanes up to go fish up on the coastlines of Canada.
Yes.
They have some really cool lodges where you can like fish for halibut and all that. Yeah,
Sounds
delicious.
good. By the way, we especially want to welcome one person in our YouTube chat box. It's Ryan Apple Snapple.
Yes.
Because he goes all the way back to when we, at Fox 10, we very first experimented with going online.
Yes.
With the product that then eventually became Live Now from Fox, which has gone national, and it literally has tens and tens of thousands of viewers live all day long. But he remembers when Samia and I started that on YouTube forever ago.
Right. He was like, I'm OG. I remember watching when Samia was on.
Yeah.
And he remembers when you were there and you had a permanent marker in your hand.
Okay.
And I guess you got it on her jacket or something.
I do kind of remember that.
So he called it
now.
Markergate in the chat.
That's so great. You know, this is the very first day, and I know we have hundreds of people watching here on YouTube. That was the very first time. I'll just tell the story just very quickly, but there were some llamas that were on the loose in a suburb northwest of Phoenix called Sun City. And they were out there, and they were going to try to lasso them. And as we did that live, we were floating around like 15 people watching live, Celeste.
Yes.
Before you knew it, we had 100 and then 200 and 600 and 800. And we just watched that number grow like crazy. And we realized people want good information like we provide every day in a live format on YouTube.
And I think it was even more interesting that it wasn't like as they were trying to corral the llamas.
Yeah.
It was like they were in a rodeo. Like you had cowboys out there with like, ropes and, you know, the whole thing.
And, you had the sheriff's office around and you had the news helicopters up above and there was a lot of pressure on those guys.
And there's all these llamas. They weren't even running fast. They were just hard to wrangle.
The other thing I remember about working with Samia, there was another guy, and Ryan, maybe you remember this, who had the craziest name on YouTube. You can go with whatever name you want. And he called himself, Celeste, I'm just going to hold it up right here. He called himself Ron Hoon's Watch.
That was his handle?
Yeah, it was a different watch than the one I've got here. But
so
anyway,
funny.
Who knows? That guy's out there somewhere in the internet world. Hopefully he'll discover that we're still here. And Ryan, love you, buddy.
Yeah,
we're
so
part
glad
of the
you
chat.
chimed in.
How many pounds, Celeste, should you lose?
I like Shmalest.
How many pounds should you lose if
Ron.
you're of roughly average weight or maybe a little bit overweight?
We had this conversation during the show in the early hours.
I'm not asking about you.
Don't even look at me.
Let me just dig into it. How much do you weigh right now?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even weigh myself anymore.
Do you not?
I do not weigh myself
every day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Just to
you're a
make
guy.
sure I'm staying
I
on
would
it.
cry. I'd
Yeah.
be like, oh no, those
Yeah.
tacos I had last night. Because I love me a good burger and fries, and I
Yeah.
am not going to about to say no.
Okay, good. So I try to keep it around 174, and that's what I was today, 174.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, right.
I just base my weight off. I might check my weight if I feel like my dresses are tight.
Oh, okay. By that point, isn't it a little too late?
Well, I mean, it's just the way I live,
You do what
I
you
guess.
got to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I'll keep trying to get Celeste to reveal her weight, but it's probably not going to work out.
Hawkeyes goes, did you ask her that? And so did Kill Herself 777.
By the way, this is how you can tell we've been working together for what, 15 years? You've been here 15 years,
12
right?
and a half
Okay.
close.
All right.
Yeah.
Because we know we can even poke each other to
Yes,
that
we
extent.
can.
Here's the answer, by the way, 12 pounds. Try to lose.
That's my big toe.
Try to
That's
lose 12 pounds. Getting us back on track.
Yeah, thank you.
Try to lose 12 pounds. They said if they took the average person who weighs maybe 180 but wants to lose a little bit of weight, and I'm in that range. I go up to 180, but I'm currently 174, and I go down to about 168. And they say in this study, if you lose 12 pounds, you dramatically increase your odds of a longer, healthier life. And you have fewer risks of cancer, stroke, heart attack, asthma, and lung disease.
Yeah, that's so true. I think and I think as like spouses, significant others, friends, it's important for us to help each other out with that. Yeah. By the way, Ryan Apple Snapple says, Ron, careful, you might not get tamales come December. Be careful. And everyone, Lil Philosophy, Ocean Girl, 505, everybody is like hilarious. They're like, Ron, do not go there.
I know. Good. Well, the Syleste fan club's going crazy. But Syleste, we're going to move on to our next topic, which is this. And this was your idea, and I love it. You came up with a few suggestions of things that people never said in the 70s.
Yes.
And so what were a few, do you remember, that were on that list?
A few of them. Google it.
Google it. We never said that in the 70s.
Text me.
Text me, right?
Text me.
Okay.
What were some of the others? And I reposted it on Twitter. I'm going to pull it up.
How about
right
this
now.
one? One of the others, I remember you saying, drat. I lost my phone.
Yes, I lost my phone.
And people back in the 70s, that they would stare at you like you were from the Back to the Future movie. Because phones were on walls.
Yeah, seriously. So I shop online.
Yeah, okay.
That was another one.
Yep.
I'm online. I need a better internet provider. Let's see. My hello and welcome to my channel on YouTube.
Oh, see? Kind of like what we're doing. Now, we're going to roll them out here. I got a picture of me from back in the 70s. And then we'll show Syleste from, is this in the 90s?
This is
from you?
This is in the 90s. Ron, okay, first, can I preface this? Yes. Ron texts me and he says, can you send me a picture of you from the 90s? And I'm thinking, what? I don't have that in my phone.
Well, you found it.
And then I remembered that I had to do something for my teenage daughter this year who just graduated high school. And I had to find a picture of myself.
Yeah.
In high school.
Oh, good. Well, here's Syleste back in the day. Wow. Right. Look at you.
Yeah, those eyebrows.
Oh, Syleste.
Got to fill them in now.
Look at that.
But that was back in the day.
You've just always been so stunning.
Oh, thank you, Ron.
Great. Is that a senior picture? Junior?
That is a senior picture.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was back in the day that you never said to, the quarterback of the high school football team, "Hey, buddy, text me."
No, I never said.
Never said that.
Never said that.
He would have stared at you. Yeah.
He would have been like, "I am Back to the Future." Like, what? Who are you?
That is great. All right, I don't know. I'm a little embarrassed here to show my picture from the 70s, just because. I got a lot of, I don't know if grief is the word or what.
No.
When I posted it on Instagram. But anyway, here we go.
Oh my God. Look at those thighs. Are you kidding me?
In the 70s at Disneyland. That's the monorail behind me and even the waterfall, the Matterhorn.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Everyone simmer down. The calves. The quads. Are you kidding me right now, Ron?
Well, see.
And the hair's back.
Shorts were very short back then. And the hair was kind of Andy Gibb. Remember Andy Gibb?
I do remember. Can I tell you this, though? With this look that you have, that's back in.
Really?
Yeah, that hairdo, the shorty shorts.
Okay.
The Daisy Dukes for guys.
Actually, I'm looking at the guy behind me. I don't know if I've really ever focused on him, but his shorts are shorter than my shorts. It was short time. Yeah. Well, I was with my buddy Toby. We were just a couple of bachelors. I spent the summer after high school in L.A. Far be it from me to wear USC Trojan gear anymore, but
so this is Disneyland.
That was Disneyland.
So and 1970s.
Yeah.
I will say that Disneyland is like a hot date spot for folks in Anaheim.
Oh,
Did you know?
Right?
Like that?
Okay.
Yeah, for a lot of years, it was like people would take their date to Disneyland. Did you and your friend? Did you meet anybody there? Or did your? I don't know if you want to let us know. Your wife is watching.
All right, people. Now you can get down on Syleste for some of this probing controversy. No, I don't think so.
No?
Yeah.
Nobody you shared the seat with the Matterhorn or something like that?
When we were leaving, I do remember, what am I there, 18?
Yeah.
I remember there
Jen's
were some
Wall
other.
said, "Whoa, look at those legs, Ron."
Anyway, I do remember there were some other girls that were yelling at us to stop. They're like, "Hey, come back here."
Yeah, where you going?
But you know what? When it's closing time and the parade is just wrapped up,
Yeah.
you got to get out of there. Otherwise, you're stuck in the parking lot forever.
Then it does not become the happiest place on earth.
And as it worked out, everything worked out fine.
Yes.
I met the girl of my dreams anyway.
Oh, sweet.
Okay, let's close with the possum. And then we're going to hand it off to Ty and Anita, or actually Anita's off, so it'll be Ty.
Mm-hmm.
And ready, here we go. This is the possum. The people are going viral.
Oh, look at the cutie patootie.
Because everybody is saying, oh, so cute. And so this is from the Oregon Zoo in Portland. This is an orphaned possum. And they say, by the way, his name is Joey. And they found him abandoned behind an apartment building in Lebanon, Oregon, which is over there by Albany, about an hour's drive south of Portland.
Mm-hmm.
So since he had a rough start in life, they had to nurse him back to health before he could be the zoo's animal ambassador. By the way, I'm looking around for Ty.
Uh-huh. He's
have
not
we
in
seen
here.
him here?
I have not.
Okay.
But by the way, Ron, I
Yeah.
know. I mean, he's so cute, and they say
Ty?
the possum, but Ty too.
Well, okay. Ty, welcome to the studio. Celeste just revealed she thinks you're really cute.
Yeah, you're welcome, buddy. The possum, though, I mean, the possum, it's such an appropriate name.
Yes, it is.
For something that's a rodent.
Right.
And which is crazy.
Yeah. Well,
you know?
yeah.
I mean, it's in the rat family, after all.
Yes, good. But if you go to the Oregon Zoo in Portland, you'll
Yes.
probably see him. He's now the new star attraction. And we have
So
another
cute.
star attraction right here. It's Ty.
Hi, Ty.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Happy Friday, you guys.
Yeah, no
Happy
kidding.
Friday.
How's the show gone?
It's going pretty good.
Really good. We
Yeah.
have a huge audience watching.
Oh, we do?
Mm-hmm.
That's
So,
always exciting.
Yeah, they're ready for you. What are you
right.
going to chat about?
Okay. So, you've worked with Tom before.
Tom Fergus.
Yeah. And
Yes.
he always calls it Fat Boy Friday.
Fat Boy Friday,
Okay.
baby.
This is definitely a Fat Boy Friday because
Ooh, you
guess
got
what we have? Do you see this? What's being
donuts.
rolled in? Not only donuts, we have pizza coming into the station or into the studio
Nice.
as well.
Oh my gosh!
Well, earlier
How
today,
did you
Ron
get
asked
the
me
best
for my-
donuts in America to bash us. We've all talked about.
Yes.
We love bashes.
And Ron asked me what I weighed earlier in the show, so this is
Right.
perfect day to bring
It's been
in
an
pizza
hour.
and
We still don't
donuts.
have the answer.
I don't think you're going to get
Ron,
it.
you're going to wait a long time.
All right. Well, anyway, it's on YouTube for the next half hour, and we can't wait. Stick with us for sure.
Have a great weekend.
All right, well, come on in. This is like organized chaos here this morning. Anita is off, so I have asked Jasmine. I was like, Jasmine, can you come hang out with us? And she was nice enough to say
for this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I told her what was on today. We got pizza, donuts, and she was like,
oh my God.
I am there. Introduce yourself for us.
Of course, Genaro Perez, Chief Marketing Officer for Peter Piper Pizza.
Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Before we get to all the pizza, I did want to mention this because our friends over at the Arizona Diamondbacks sent over some cool gifts that they're doing this weekend. You did a little research, didn't you?
I did. It's Women's Night tonight, so they are going to be giving away these hats.
Okay, put it on, model it.
With special ticket purchase.
Oh, look at that.
Look at me. I'm keeping it. Sorry.
You know what? I was already told that that has to go to someone else.
No, sorry. It's mine. Yeah, so if with a special ticket purchase, you get this cute little hat, and it's honoring women tonight. They're going to have some fireworks going on, and tomorrow there's a bobblehead giveaway.
These are really cool. These are, and this is the new
yeah, Geraldo Perdomo.
Perdomo bobblehead. Hold on. Let's open this bad boy up.
I meant to do some baseball research, so I knew stats, but
evidently he's kind of the new up and coming.
He's a big deal.
Do you know anything about the Diamondbacks? Well, but I like the Serpiente uniform he's got on too.
The new uniform.
So tomorrow, for the first 20,000 fans, they'll get the Perdomo bobblehead. So if you want to go to the game, first 20,000.
It's a fun little ticket thing they've got going on to get more fans engaged. So tonight with this special ticket purchase, you get this hat. Upcoming for Father's Day, I actually purchased tickets for my husband. If you buy a ticket, you get VIP access to the field. You get a jersey. So just fun little things they've been doing for the fans.
That is cool.
Yeah.
The hat does look good on you.
I'm not taking it off.
The colors are really
I don't know who this is for, but it's going to be gone.
All right, well, you heard it here first. She's stealing from the show. I like it. All right, now let's move this out of the way and get to the pizza. By the way, it smells fantastic.
So good.
You really outdid yourself. This is just 2 of the mini pizzas that you brought over here.
I brought a lot of pizza because I wasn't sure of the size of the table.
You're the newsroom's favorite guy right now.
Let's talk about this because you guys have some really cool stuff happening for the summer, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're known, obviously, for families to come have fun with their kids, and we launched a new summer pass, which Anita came to see a couple of weeks ago. So basically, we have 3 tiers, and you can buy the pass depending on how much you want to play and how much discount you want to get in food and drinks.
Yeah.
But we start at $29.99, and you get 20% discount in food and drinks, and you get every day the chance to come to Peter Piper Pizza and play. And the next tier is actually $45.99. You get 110 games every single day of summer.
Wow.
So if you want to come and play 110 games every day, you can.
It's a great deal, though, really.
It is a fantastic deal.
So
have you guys? Go on.
After Anita came in, I passed it along to my family.
Well, we should tell him what happened. So Anita came back after her live shot. And she was like your best spokesperson because she was like, let me tell you.
Seriously.
And she had all the stats. And she was,
she really said, oh my God, this is a great deal. I was like, yes, it is, because it truly
it really is. Yeah.
It pays for itself in the second visit. Because when you come to Piper, you obviously want to buy food and you want to buy games.
You want to play.
I mean, that's how you connect with your family, right?
Yep.
But I mean, honestly, if you buy any of the passes, because the middle pass, for example, has 30% food. But then if you go to the big pass, the $99.99, which is called Mega Fun, it gets 50% off food and drinks and 250 games per day.
Yeah.
So even if you have 2-3 kids plus parents, everyone gets a chance to play every day.
Now, do you have to buy a pass for each individual kid, or can you use one pass?
No, you buy one.
So one pass.
One per family.
One per family.
Because you do it through the app. So basically,
that
you
is
download
a really
the app.
Deal.
So I went home. I have a family friend. She babysits like 4 of her grandkids, and I was like, "Hey, this is a deal." And I think she already signed up and got her pass, and she's ready for summer because you have to entertain the kids. So that's perfect.
And it's gonna be so hot. I mean, it's starting to get there, but
there's air conditioning.
I know, and we get really good air at Peter Piper, I have to say. So.
I'm going to move this a little bit closer because people are saying they can't hear you. There we go.
Sorry.
People are already commenting here saying Peter Piper Pizza is the best.
It is.
Let's talk about this because when I went, did a live shot with you, I think it was a couple years ago, you walked us through the whole process of making your pizza. You guys really do take this very seriously. This is not kind of like generic run-of-the-mill pizza. Like this is legit what you guys do.
I know. I mean, it's truly fantastic that we're able to still preserve the made from scratch. And I mean it in every single word. Every Peter Piper has a dough room. And
the dough room's cool.
Yeah.
I got to go back there.
It's full of flour, as you saw.
Yes.
When I trained there, I had flour from my head to my toes. But regardless, you start with flour, water, and we make the dough fresh every single day.
I didn't know that.
And that's why probably the dough is, I mean, people crave about our dough and about our sauce, but it's truly what makes the brand so special. And we've been here in Arizona 52 years, and we still do it the same way. So, and we're not changing it. So the pizza's made from scratch, truly made from scratch every single day in every restaurant. Then we have different types of dough. We have the thin crust, the original, and then the pan, which is my favorite.
That's my favorite.
That's, oh my God.
Which one?
The like hand.
Oh,
tossed.
It's called the original.
Original.
Yeah, the
Original.
And
Excuse you.
Well, I mean,
not
no,
Anita
not to
level
correct you
marketing.
on air, but it's called the original. And that's, by the way, vegetarian
Thank
for
you.
someone that appreciates
Lame.
vegetables.
Thank you.
Hey, I also brought up pepperoni.
For you.
That's
Yeah,
for me.
that is a good combo, the jalapeno
That's just
and
my
pepper.
lunch.
That's yours right there.
Jalapeno pepperoni is the #1 sold pizza in.
Is it really?
Yes, that's the #1 combination.
So I was going to ask you some of the most popular, because obviously like the cheese, obviously the pepperoni is kind of like one of your popular, but that's an interesting combination, I wouldn't think.
Pepperoni jalapeno, and I brought one that I couldn't fit in the table, but it's pineapple, ham and pineapple, which I love. I know that there's a lot of haters there with ham and pineapple that say that.
Are you one of those people?
I like it.
Oh, you
It's a
do?
good
Oh, okay,
kick,
good.
Yeah.
There are
It's
some
very
people
polarizing.
It is polarizing, and I don't know why. I think it adds like a nice little like sweet kick to the, the
sauce.
robustness of the sauce.
I know. Look at you, robustness.
You,
Yes,
you're a chef.
that's a very good word to describe the sauce.
All right, so people are commenting here, and they're saying we wish there was a Peter Piper in Safford. Oh. Can you open one in Safford?
I mean, maybe. Yeah. I don't
We're talking
know.
to the right guy here. He's got the ability to make things
Well,
happen.
I mean, we're obviously very penetrating in Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. We have, on the northern border of Mexico, we have 115 restaurants
Wow.
So I
total.
grew up in El Paso, which is right along the Texas-Mexico border, and we grew up. Peter Piper's the place.
That's
to
a
go.
big market, yes.
Friday family nights, birthday parties. Peter Piper's your go-to pizza, so it's very nostalgic.
And fundraising, which is part of what I wanted to talk to you about, because I mean, we do a ton of fundraising events every year, and that's the way that we actually give back to the community, because 15% of all sales, every time that a school chooses to fundraise with us, we give back 15% of all sales of that night.
So how do you, so like maybe there's a school district watching or something like that, and they want to kind of partner with you. How do they do that? Is there an application process?
Well, they can do it through the website. We have a tab on the website that says events, and then they literally submit their information, and we have a team of 5 dedicated people that work with schools every single day. Litchfield School District in Arizona is one of our biggest school districts that we work with. Actually, shout out to Rancho Santa Fe, and I wanted to give a special shout out to Amanda Ramirez, who actually is in the school of Rancho Santa Fe, and she's a fantastic partner. But like Amanda, there's a lot of school headmasters or directors that really need money to bridge that gap between the federal funding and what they really need to succeed. And we can do, I don't know, like a yearbook signing or a school picture or only a family night out, as they call it. And basically, we invite every single person from the school, every family to come to Piper, and then everything that we sell that night, 15% goes back to the school.
That's cool.
Awesome.
We cut a check.
What is that like for you guys to be able to give back to the community in that way? And it's nice that there's like an organization, or rather a company, at Peter Piper Pizza, allows you guys to help out the community that you're in. That's pretty cool.
We absolutely love it. And I don't mean it only that we truly believe in education. Like, that's one of the pillars. Every brand has its own pillars and what we're here for. I mean, we're here for obviously serving great pizza, but before that, truly what we do is support youth and community. And this is a fantastic way. Every year we give back $600,000 to schools. That's we also, when you work in at the restaurant for the heart-shaped pizza, that was also an initiative that, even though the partnership was with Phoenix Children's, which is something that we do every year, That's also to support within the hospital the educational part of the hospital, because a lot of children are obviously going through treatment. They cannot go to school. And Phoenix Children's has a fantastic library and programs that need money. And that's where we come in. I mean, last 2 years with Heart-Shaped Pizzas, we were able to donate more than $52,000 to Children's Miracle Network, which is kind of the entity that has Phoenix Children's and other hospitals as well.
I love that. That's
good
very cool.
Food.
Good
Lots
food.
of fun, and they give back.
Yeah.
Sold. And look at this.
Oh yeah. Can we talk about these that you brought over? These are these new this year? Because I don't remember these last
It's
time.
new this year, and it's my personal favorite. I mean,
dying to try it.
Just like Anita is my spokesperson,
Yeah,
I
she's
think
your
Icy should do something with me because I cannot put those down.
So what's in this one?
So that's a mango tahini.
Hold on, I'm gonna hold it up right here so you can see. Okay, so there's a little bit of you see the mango, and then there's the tahini on top.
And it's tahini chamoy and tahini powder. So it's called a mangonada, but we call it mango tahini, you know.
Okay, for people that
Never
don't
had
know.
a mangonada?
No.
Oh, it's
I don't know what.
good.
You probably
what
had
is
it with
chamoy?
tequila.
Probably.
Maybe.
What
This
is
one
chamoy?
sans tequila, though. No tequila. This
You
one.
can pour a little.
I'm not judging.
Listen,
I'm
it's
just saying.
Friday afternoon.
Yeah,
Well,
just
Mike,
saying.
if you're watching,
We're a family-friendly restaurant, so no, but it's delicious. It's so refreshing. It's tangy.
Ooh,
it's
that is
summer in your mouth.
That is
with
delicious.
A kick.
Yes, somebody else described it like that.
Anita, I'm taking your job.
And as you are mixing it, you know, the chamoy
So
starts to
good.
kick in. It's so delicious.
Wait,
Chamoy is like that red, like tamarind sauce kind
Oh,
of,
yeah, yeah.
right?
It's kind of a
Tamarindo?
paste. Yeah.
Okay.
It's often on rims of like alcoholic drinks.
Okay.
Or fruit.
yes,
You know,
yes.
also.
That is good.
Relating to
is
time.
And I love mango, and that tastes just
So
like a
good.
real mango too.
It's delicious. I
Okay.
think we
The
may
spice.
keep it forever.
It's so
Just
good.
doing the
My
announcement.
husband's a big
yeah.
icy guy, and we always pop into Peter Piper to grab an icy. We're gonna have to take him.
Yes.
To try that. Yeah.
It's for a limited time, so
Run.
until September.
People
so.
are into this. People are a little philosophy says mango tahini chamoy. Wow, thumbs up.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thumbs up.
You gotta try
I-
that. That is
So
It's very
good.
summery, right?
I love it. And honestly, I mean, part of what we do, and I mean, I have another menu item that I couldn't put in, but it's called the cheddar dippers. So we're constantly
Anita
innovating.
brought those back.
Oh, she
Those
told me
were
that she was
so
bringing some
good.
jalapeno for
Yes.
you.
Oh my gosh.
So we have a jalapeno cheddar or
Should I
bacon
go grab
cheddar.
one? You want me to
Can
grab
you?
one?
Go grab 'em.
Yes,
I'll go
they're in the little box, the two little boxes. So those are cheddar dippers. So it's basically because we do our dough every day, as I said. It's a different cut of the dough, and then we make these rolls. And within the roll, yes,
Are those them?
Yeah,
those are
those are them. Yep. So these are the pepperoni cheddar.
Oh, right. These are the ones. I want the.
Yeah, those are for you,
Oh,
the jalapeno.
okay, sorry.
And then we have
meat.
ranch because, of course,
yeah.
I mean, everything is good with ranch. By the way, in Arizona, people love dipping pizza in ranch. I'm one of them too.
Love
but
it.
I mean, it's such an interesting combination, right? Pizza and ranch.
love
But oh my
it.
god, love it. So anyway, these are called cheddar dippers, and they come in jalapeno
these.
or pepperoni, also for a limited time. So basically, these two things are the innovation for summer. And I mean, what we're
Okay. We've gone from pizza to donuts. We are
Donuts.
living our best life here this
stoked.
morning. We've got Misty. You are the director of the bakery for all of Bash's. Is that correct?
Yes, for Bash's. I
That
am.
okay. That in of itself is a cool job. What is your background? How did you get that job?
I started out in bakery when I was a teenager.
Working at Bash's?
Not for Bash's. I came from up north. I
Okay.
came to Arizona in 2005, and I walked into Bash's and never left.
Really?
I love Bash's.
That is
Yes.
so cool. Now, was baking like a passion that you always had?
I started with my grandma and my mom. We had 14 people in the house, so we did a lot of baking.
Yeah.
We did a lot of breads. We did our own rolls, all cookies, everything. So it was just natural. And I'm an artist, and it paid, bakery helped pay for the paints. So I have that in my background with a graphic artist. But the bakery, I was able to create with my hands.
Yeah.
Able to do donuts, icings, cakes, everything.
That's
so
cool.
I just naturally gravitated, and I've always loved the whole creation process. Yeah.
We have another baker at the table with us today.
Oh, really?
Well, I try, but you're probably way more talented than me.
Well, I have to say though, you guys, she makes one of the best, and I'm not blowing smoke just because you're sitting right here. She makes one of the best. What is the the cookie that I like?
The cookie,
it's
it's like a white chocolate sprinkle sugar cookie that Ty loves.
Nice.
that I
You
make.
should put it on your menu over at Bash's.
We need a cookie contest, like we have a donut contest.
Oh,
We
that's
need-
such a good idea.
But only if I win.
Oh,
I love it.
Can we rig it somehow?
She called it the cookie, and you called it the cookie, so I know that it's
It is
delicious.
spectacular.
Yeah, that's my little hobby. So
Yeah, you can do a lot with cookies.
You really
That's
can.
an awesome idea.
Okay, so
I
maybe
love
next year you got to enter this
contest.
cookie contest.
Yeah.
But today we're talking about your donut contest, and this is so much fun every single year. This is what, the 10th? Is this the 10th?
It's the
year?
10th. It's the
Wow.
10th year. Yeah.
So do you know kind of where this idea came from? Like when 10 years ago when you guys like we should do a donut contest?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I want to hear this. I
was
want to hear the
there.
story.
okay.
I was there, and public relations came up with, "Hey, Misty, let's do something with donuts." And I was like, we just started bouncing ideas off each other, and we came up with this contest and putting it out there. We got to have a theme, and it just grew. And every year it's grown, and we've had a lot of good reactions.
Yeah.
And the best part about it is that these donuts, they're all put in all our cases. Whoever wins, the top two. So we've got youth and we've got adults.
Right.
And we've got 5 contestants on each one that have sent in their great ideas and everything. And what we do is, like right now, we're in the process of it being judged. And it's done from the outside with celebrity judges. And we've made the creations. Now they're being judged, and they'll pick the winners. And we'll announce that on Wednesday, June 3rd, and just in time for National Donut Day, which is on June 6th. So it's a big week for Bash's Bakeries.
Oh, I bet.
We sell so many donuts, but 10% of the sales go to the Salvation Army
Oh, I didn't know that.
for that day.
Oh, for that day. That's fantastic. You know that Ron Hoon literally won't shut up about your donuts at Bash's. Anytime we talk about donuts, he always is like, I don't care about the big name brand donut places. He wants Bash's.
We
So
fry
that's a
'em
good
fresh.
that's a good seal of approval. You got the Ron Hoon seal of approval.
Wow, that's good
That's
to
a big
know.
deal.
That's pretty cool.
Put that on the box.
Stamped with approval.
And then, I was curious, how does the process work? So how do people submit their creations, or what's the process like?
We put that out there, and they submit it in on bashes.com.
Okay.
They go in, and there's a youth category, and then there's an adult category. And we put it out there. We advertise it and do real well with social media, TV. Everybody supported us. And they're able to create anything that they can dream up. And the last 9 years, we've had a theme. So this year, what we did was Blast from the Past.
Okay.
So any theme from the last 9 years, you could come in, and you could actually, have any of those themes. So we've had some really good ideas put in.
Do they get to come in and work with the baker to make it, or do they submit the idea and then you guys make the creation come to
same
life?
question I was just going to ask.
Oh, okay. Well, they submit this idea.
Okay.
And the stories behind it and everything are really cool. And then what we do is we look at them, what can we create?
Okay.
And we take the lot of those, and then what we do is we create them, and then we take the bakery team. So I'll say, okay, let's do this and that, and we create it from just their ideas.
Wow.
That's
So
cool.
we take it from the written word, and we have to make it into something. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Now, Misty, that must be fun for you guys, because I was going
It
to say,
is,
because
yeah.
you kind of have your same flavors and same shapes every single day. But when you get to do something like this, you kind of get to use those, get those creative juices flowing a little bit, right? To kind of make these ideas come to fruition.
Yeah, we have a lot of creative people in Bashes, not just with donuts, but also with cakes and everything else. So this is our chance to show our skills and what we can come up with. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to do something different. Every holiday, it's different. Everything that we do, there's a little different thing, and you know, this donut craze is a lot of fun.
Have you had a favorite donut that you've created that you remember?
Well, last year we had one put in that was a Winnie the Pooh.
Oh,
and it was the first time we put honey, like straight honey onto a donut. I've put honey into like a glaze, but this was straight honey on top of the donut. And it was a Winnie the Pooh and had vanilla wafer ears. And then you took the honey and you drizzled it right over the top. And it changed the flavor of the entire thing. That was a really fun donut.
Huh. I was going to say, you must be kind of surprised by some of the things that people come up with. People are very creative, aren't they?
Yeah.
These were some
these were all very creative, too.
Yeah.
Can you go over some of the ones? I mean, I don't know if you want to go over every single one, but these are some of the finalists, right?
Yes. Yes.
And
yes.
we did a little taste test on Wednesday, so folks were watching on Wednesday. We devoured some of these. We really went to town on these.
They were attacked. Like, as soon as we went off air, this table was swarmed, and people were munching.
And I can't remember which one I said was my favorite. Do I see it?
This one was very rich. We liked it. It had
the coffee
buttercream and coffee.
Yes, yes. The vanilla latte. It's got the buttercream in the middle, and then it's got the chocolate that's infused with coffee. So
if you're gonna splurge, that would be my splurge. That was like the real deal.
That was really good.
That was good. And the Island Kiss, that one has pineapple filling in it, and then the coconut on top, and that gives you a nice, fresh, fruity flavor. And it's great with the heat that's going on in Arizona, right?
That was the summer taste of donuts. This was our summer drink. Perfect pair.
Yeah, we're really living our best life here today, Misty.
And then we have the Eye Wicked of Bash's Donut. So so we've got that one going on with Wicked. Fun. That was easy to spot out. Very on trend right now. That was a great idea. And then we've got the Coca Mocha Monkey Banana, and it's a mouthful of words, but it's a mouthful of donut, and it's got the banana custard in it with the chocolate and the coconut on top. So there you get another banana custard. So great flavor for Arizona.
Anything with coconut, I'm sold.
Yeah, same. I love coconut. Did you
one in the middle?
Oh yeah, what's that one?
That one right there is the Denoli. So it's made after a cannoli.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't think I had that one. I don't.
Oh,
either.
You gotta try that one.
Was that one missing from our box?
So
they
wonderful.
Attacked them.
Yeah, I thought someone stole it.
I think she took that one off.
I think Anita did steal that one.
I'm telling you, Anita.
Yeah.
It's got the vanilla and cinnamon icing on a raised donut, and then it's got cream cheese frosting. It's all mixed with cinnamon.
My mouth is watering.
And then you got cannoli chips on the top. Oh. You will love that donut. And the person who created that, she actually won the youth category before.
Oh, wow.
She's very, very good at mixing flavors. And this year, she's in the adult category.
So, Misty, once the winner is crowned,
right.
How long do they get to have that donut in the cases at Bash's?
For a month. We put it in our cases for a month in every single donut case, from Arizona all the way to New Mexico, all the way to Havasu. Yeah, so it's going to be in every single case.
What if it's like a really, really good seller? Could there be the
keep it.
Really?
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, we would keep it. We have certain stores that have kept them from like 5 years ago, and they keep it in the case because the customers come in and they love it so much, they just keep wanting it.
That's a very cool honor.
Cool. Yeah, that is. Okay, since you're like the baking pro here, are you a cake donut or what's the regular kind?
Raised donut?
Raised donut, or are you a filled donut or a log donut? I don't know all the like
a fritter, right?
Yeah, we've got fritters, we've got everything, but I like a filled donut that has like a fruity flavor in it. I always, gravitate towards that, but I love maple donuts.
You do?
Mix it with a lot of different like inclusions though. I like all kinds of particulates on stuff. I like mixing it up.
Okay.
But that's good with my very favorite in the whole wide world, blueberry cake donut. Lightly iced.
Yes. Yes.
That's
and when they do like old-fashioned donuts and then they put blueberries in that and they mix it and it's got the buttermilk mixed into that cake donut.
I have an idea for a donut, and I think next year I'm going to enter. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Okay.
You should. You've got
want
some
people to
flavors
steal. I don't
going
want
on.
people to steal my idea.
Okay.
Should I tell you?
No.
Okay.
Keep it a
Keep
secret.
a secret.
Tell me. I'll be a judge, and then you can. Tell
I'll
me.
be like, wink,
we'll
wink. That
we'll
one's
rig
really
the
good,
donut
right?
one and the cookie one.
We're always looking for ideas because everybody's got like a favorite, and then they come up with all these different ways to do it.
Okay, I'll tell
And
you.
it's like
I'll
that's
tell you,
beautiful.
Missy. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Okay, tell us.
Okay, I want to do a blueberry lemonade donut.
Okay.
Cake donut.
Okay,
I'm not sold.
yeah.
What about
I don't like lemon.
What about like a blueberry donut with like a lemon drizzle icing?
Nope.
But the donut is blueberry, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
See, it's
my
got like
winner.
the sweetness of the blueberry with a little bit of tang, and then you get the little bit of the tang and sweetness from the.
I'm a buttercream girl. I'm not.
I can see your
I can
wheels
see
spinning, and
it,
I see you just being like, enough.
I like buttercream. I don't like fruity sweets. I like the buttercream, the chocolate, the Oreos.
Everybody's
super
got
rich.
their favorite. Everybody's got favorites, even old-fashioned donuts with that buttermilk in there. It's a cake donut.
Yeah.
We have customers that love that. We also fry croissant donuts. And we have a lot of snowbirds love that donut.
Really?
Yeah.
I just keep thinking about the one with honey. I love honey. That I'm gonna have to go buy one and try it this weekend.
Is that the Winnie the Pooh's gone though?
Well,
right?
no, but I mean, I could like buy a donut and drizzle honey.
Your
try
own?
to recreate
Do your own?
it, you know?
It's fun. I love doing it when we were doing it last year. Yeah.
With
Yeah,
some
yeah,
wafers
yeah.
on top.
There you go.
You put honey on stuff. You change the flavor of the entire thing.
Yeah,
It's
I love
beautiful.
honey.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So when walk us through again when the winner will be announced, because I think we're going to try and bring them back, right? Are we? Is that what we're doing?
We're hoping to.
We're hoping
We're
to.
hoping
Yes,
to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that they can be there and they decorate their own donut.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's an awesome thing.
Because I think
So
Danielle
cool.
was out there before, and Danielle is also kind of our donut connoisseur. Whenever there's a live shot that has anything to do with a
So much
donut,
fun.
she was like, "It better be me. It better be me."
So much
we always have to send her. But I think she was out there with the last year's winner, because we
She
were kind
was,
of talking
yeah.
about this particular contest.
Yes.
So we'll have to send her back out. But what are the dates again, Misty?
Wednesday, June 3rd, we're going to announce the winner. And then we'll have it in all the stores on National Donut Day, which is Friday the 6th. And
coming up.
10% of the sales go to Salvation Army.
That's very cool.
Danielle's
Of the
gonna-
winning donut.
Danielle's gonna have to fight Tom for the live shot because he was already calling dibs.
Oh,
so-
really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they brought enough donuts. I think we can share.
Yeah, we don't want to
know.
forget the cookies and milk for Santa, and
yeah.
also the pretzel donut as well,
Oh, yes.
and the s'mores donut.
Yeah, that's
Very
nice.
decadent.
That is very decadent. Well, Misty, thank you so much for coming in. This has been fun. And I think I want to do a cooking segment with you. I want to come back and be a Bash's employee for a day in the bakery.
That would be
Ty
awesome.
gives it a
That would be
try.
awesome.
I look good in a hairnet.
We can put the knot right here.
Right here, yeah.